After the first drive, it was clear that it hadn't gone to plan. I think the shot count was just over 100 on a 300 bird day. That's awful. I think I actually said to Rich on camera that I wanted to be shooting sort of 80 off that drive, which would have been sort of 350, 400 shots. So we were short, real short. Now at that point, everything is running through my head. That drive was first of all really light. The game hadn't got to it that morning. It was wet. They were all hunkered up under hedgerows, tucked away under ferns and woodland. They didn't want to come out in that rain. So the drive was light, massively light, and what was in there didn't go. And the interesting thing was it didn't go with the wind like it should have done. It went away from the wind, which then made me question, are those next drives going to be the same? So the drive after that was Strawberry Hill, one of my favourites. Not necessarily for height, but volume. It's a nice drive to drive. I'm up on the hill, I can see everything, birds going out at eye height for me, so it's a real pleasure to watch. But it's a very similar sort of drive. My fear was that one was going to go the same. So at that point, I was kind of in two minds whether to mix it up, go into a woodland somewhere, a little bit more tucked away, a bit more sheltered, or give it one more go and hope that Strawberry pulled out the bag. And to be fair, Strawberry's never let me down before, so I went with my gut, and to Strawberry Hill we went. No one's upset, are they? I didn't shout at anyone. You'll see a load of pits in there. Put George over. George, just go over the fence, walk out in the grass a little bit and just stand there. No flag, rolled up, but out the way, and then keep looking at that maze. The second you see them, come up and over, step forward, show yourself, let them know they're there. We're going to give one more maze drive a go. It's a pretty full drive ordinarily, even though there's probably 20% in that last drive that would ordinarily have been in there or should have been in there. So give this maze drive a go. If it doesn't work, we're going to go into the woods, try and find some pheasants. I was nervous, to say the least, coming into that second drive. It had to go right. At that point of the day, you have two failures and you're really, really on your arse. So we went in, didn't blank in a big stubble field I normally would for the partridge because I felt they'd be in the maze and they weren't going to be sitting out in stubbles in that weather, that's for sure. But at this point, the rain stopped momentarily anyway. And I sort of, for want of a better description, started to see the light at the end of the tunnel. However, we got to the back of Strawberry. As I was lining out, me and Steve sort of manipulate some partridge at the back that are often in an awkward place into the drive. Him and I were concentrating on that. And Ellie, my partner, radioed over and said, "Lance, do you want us to come in halfway across the stubble yet?" Now I completely forgot in my sort of panic and just over enthusiasm just to get in and get it done. I just wanted some success. I wanted it to go right, and I forgot to pull her in. And as I realised this and told her to get in as quick as she possibly could, her and Jake, my little lad, I could see running across this stubble field. As I looked back to the maze, we probably lost half of the drive's partridge out the side. So at that point, Ellie and Jake were in a dip. They can't be seen. The partridge obviously came to the side of the maze looking for their out and found it. By the time they'd seen them, they took them on and they were gone. Me. Go round, Steve, line up the maze, buddy. Thomas, are we all lined out?
I've actually dropped down onto the...
What a frustrating start. Literally going everywhere but we want them. Literally everywhere but we want them. They're wet, heavy, wind swirling. Sounds like I've got every excuse in the book, but this is really challenging uphill. I think we're going to have to get into some valleys in the woods, try and get out of this wind.
Yeah, I'm coming over the office part of Lance.
Okay, lovely. Lots of noise back there, Thomas. We've got a lot of partridge running back to you. Steve, Leonard, lots of noise there.
Okay.
So not a great start, and at that point I really started to lose my temper and I was getting really frustrated with myself. And this is an important point. It's never personal. That, you know, I say to my beaters all the time, I'm not venting at anyone like when I'm down the radio. It's just I'm venting. and you know, I think they understand that. But away we went. So started the drive, Partridge started to trickle out the front, nice and steady from word go. They weren't particularly high, they were still absolutely saturated at this point, but it was going and the shots were ticking away. And Rich actually said to me at one point, oh, there's more shots here than the last drive already. And I remember thinking, well, looking back at the maze thinking, well, we're only quarter of the way through.
Stand still, flags up in the front, flags up, Bert, they're taking you on. Let's get these out, push them back to the wind. Maria, come in, point these down, we'll stand still, Thomas.
That's a bit better. 2 or 3 real big flushes went through there, Partridge, which was nice, and they're going really well. So
Can you come over towards me? I feel like you're miles away.
There's Partridge flushing all the time at your front. It's very nice. Ali's in the perfect position there. Yeah, it was a good drive, solid, full of pheasants, a much shorter distance from the pen to that drive, so the birds were obviously quite happy to take that route through. It's quite a sheltered route to the drive as well, so there was a lot of game in there. We got stuck right into the Partridge. They were good sport. I think the guns at that point were starting to take the birds for what they were going to be on that day. If you were going to stand on your peg and wait for a 60-yard pheasant, you're going to be waiting a while. So like I said, experienced team of guns. They were making their shots. I always say, you know, there's no such thing as a low bird, but there is a sporting one, and I think that saying really came into its own on that drive.
Thomas, stop, all lines stop. Stand still, Tommy, stand still.
So I blew the horn to finish the drive, and quite often I'll radio my clicker man just to see where we finished on the shots. We were 350, there or thereabouts. Strawberry's not a particularly high drive, like I said, and there's a lot of partridges going through. So I was thinking in my head we might have shot 120 there, so the pressure was off. I really felt a sense of achievement. You know, when you've had such a bad first drive, the way I see it is keepers are judged off the last drive they drove, so or the last shoot day or the last season. You know, if you have a good season 6 years ago, that's not going to carry with you forward. So it was nice. I felt good, and I'd made my mind up on a plan moving forward. Third drive, we were going to switch it up. We weren't going to go to where I thought we were originally going to, or the place that was in the original plan, and I was confident that we were going to be able to show some good game and a lot of game out of a drive that we hadn't done yet this season. Third drive was Redgrove. Really fond of that drive. It's one I go to when I need some security, when I need to show a lot of game, and I need to get some game on the floor. So I was going to take no chances today. I blanked in Green Lane, which is one of the 2 pens that feeds that drive.
Ha! Ali, yeah, Steve, come up a bit. If you come into this stick here, you'll have to sort of, you go on the outside of on the open bit of the pen.
Coincidentally, there's a big block of AB9, which is like a wild bird mix in that drive, and where it was so wet, I think most of the birds had already come into the woodland of Redgrove, so there wasn't actually a great deal to blank in. On a nice still sunny day, Green Lane will be absolutely chocker. Birds don't want to be set up in Redgrove in thick bramble.
Let's have a bit of a regroup at the bottom by the crossroads. Ha! Vicky, as we get to the edge of the pen, if you come down, then hop through and then help Matt with that thick stuff at the bottom, please. Ah! Go on! Ah!
Thank you for watching this short clip of one of our films. If you enjoyed it, there is plenty more. Head over to fieldfoodandcountry.co.uk and become a member today.